Thank you for allowing me to take a few minutes of your time and share a little about what I've learned in regards to bottled water and tap water. Everyone knows that in order for us to keep our bodies healthy, that we should be consuming at least 64 ounces of water per day. But when you reach for a glass of water, you need to know where it's coming from. You could be drinking from a bottle or turning to a tap. Drinking water from a plastic bottle began only in the last 25 years. After sharing a little information about where those bottles are going and how safe the water is, I hope that I can educate you so that you will be able to make a safer choice for you and your family. So when did drinking water out of a bottle begin? From the movie Taps that you can find on Netflix, in the late 1970s, Perrier began bottling water and shipping it to the United States. It was the first time Americans even considered drinking water from a bottle. At that point, it was bottled in glass bottles, which were much safer. It wasn't until 1989 that the U.S. began bottling water in plastic bottles. Plastic bottles that were made of peat. Peat is for polyethylene terephthalate. When you look at a plastic bottle, or any recyclable for that matter, you'll see the recycling triangle on the bottom. Peat has the symbol 1. When it breaks down, it releases DEHA, which causes liver problems and other reproductive problems, as well as suspected to cause cancer. So those bottles in a perfect condition with no exposure to the sun or heat are great to use, but only for one time. So if you feel like you're doing well for the environment and you're refilling that plastic bottle, you've just put yourself in a position to break down that plastic and get those chemicals into your body. If you think maybe, well, I won't use the small plastic bottles at all, I'll use a 5-gallon bottle. Well, that 5-gallon bottle is made of BPA. BPA on the bottom of any plastic has the recycle symbol with a 7 on it. 7 is for other. It means any other plastic substance. BPA falls in that category. BPA is linked to cancer, diabetes, and obesity in animals. It acts as a hormone. There's an old theory, the dose makes the poison. That's not true. Dr. Frederick von Saal tested BPA 25,000 times less than it had ever been tested before, at a level, less than it had ever been tested before, and found that there's profound damage in every part of a male mouse's reproductive system. It affects our estrogen and our thyroid levels. There is so much in our environment that it's actually began affecting our birds and the shells of their eggs. The actual amount is 6 billion pounds of BPA are produced annually, which explains why it's been detected in our urine of 93% of people over the age of 6. So how do you think it's affecting our reproductive system? With all of the plastic bottles, where is it going? These are one-time use bottles, and they're creating a horrible condition for our environment. Plastics never completely break down. They begin as small pellets or fragments. They are melted and formed into bottles and different containers. Once they're in the sun or in our oceans, they're broken down back into those original little fragments. An article in Bloomberg by Adam Satiriano, our ocean is filled with both large and small pieces of plastic. Researchers Charles Moore and Marcus Erickson found that plastic reduces its size to the size of plankton, which is mistaken for food and endangers millions of fish and birds. Some people may think, it's our fish, it's our birds. But we are the humans that are consuming those animals, therefore we are consuming that same amount of plastic and poison. It explains why they call us a plastic world. Here are a few pictures that I found in regards to the gyres in the ocean. This is the one in the Pacific Ocean, and it's of Midway Island. It shows how our currents have collected tons and tons of plastic. This is off the island. Here's another picture of the shore with the plastic all over. Here's a picture of a bird and how it's ingested multiple pieces of plastic. I'm sure that's extreme, but it still happens. This here are the fragments. That's what we find in every part of our world. So which is safer, plastic or tapped? Well, tap water is regulated by the EPA. Bottled water is regulated by the FDA. The FDA has very relaxed regulations. Dr. Lauren Robin is a review chemist and is responsible for the food and safety for the FDA. She states that bottled water is only a portion of her responsibilities. A fun fact, if you get water, say in one state, California, they bottle water from the tap in Los Angeles at Arrowhead. They sell it in only the state of California. It's no longer regulated by the FDA because it's not crossing the state line. Those individual companies are responsible for their own testing and are not required to submit any results. The EPA, on the other hand, who regulates our tap water, has a very strict policy and standards that they have to follow. As well as their policy that they follow, they have to publish all the results for all of our water so that we know what's in our water. If the population is in excess of 1 million people, they are required to test at least 300 times per month. If it is in excess of 3 million people, they are required to test at least 400 times per month. So, which might be safer? My thought is possibly filtering at the point of contact, after it's gone through all that testing, after it's gone through all those chemicals. We don't know what's in the bottle, but yet we know what's in our water and what we can filter out. Of course, if you are using a filter, you always need to make sure that you are verifying that filter is still working and changing it on a regular basis. So we've lightly touched on the dangers in our world, both bottled and tapped. We've learned where the bottle began, how water is packaged, and its detrimental effects on our environment and our bodies. Then we looked at tap water, how it's regulated, and whether or not it's safe. So now the decision lies in your hand. The next time you go to the store to purchase a convenient bottle of water, or possibly a case, think whether you should be purchasing this or using filtered water in this. Not only are you saving money, but you're saving our environment. You can make an effect on your world. We are only one, but we can educate many. So, what we need to do is start at home, where we make a difference. Thank you.